episode 2. Took a little while to start the recording on this. A lot of technical issues and work, personal life work, real life work, actual work. My work has been pretty fucking busy of late. Yeah, so the Brian Flores thing is wild. First, it started out as pretty much he interviewed to become a head coach. I can't remember which team, but they hired a white head coach over him. And he was texted by, I hope I'm getting all this right. I saw all of this today. He was texted by Bill Belichick, who's the Patriots head coach. And Bill Belichick was pretty much congratulating him. Like, oh, I heard you got it, blah, 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 congratulations. And he's like, I haven't even interviewed yet. I haven't even gotten the interview yet. And he's like, yeah, but I'm just hearing that you're the guy. I'm hearing you're the guy. And he's like, oh, okay. He's like, all right, I guess. Bill Belichick texts him after a little, I don't know if it's like a day later or something. Later on, he texts him back like, oh, sorry, I fucked this up. I just heard wrong, blah, blah, blah. Essentially, he, from what I gathered, he texted the wrong Brian. The other coach interviewing is also named Brian. Right here. From Belichick was sent an error. Yeah. So the other guy, Dabble, his name is Brian Dabble. And this guy is Brian Flores. Sounds like you have landed. Congrats. Belichick texted to Flores. According to screen grabs of the conversation presented in Flores' lawsuit. Did you hear something I didn't hear? Flores replied. Giants, Belichick texted. I interview on Thursday, Flores wrote. I think I have a shot at it. Got it. I hear from Buffalo and New York Giants that you are their guy, Belichick replied. Later, Flores sought clarification. Coach, are you talking to Brian Flores or Brian Dabble? Flores asks, just making sure. Sorry, I fucked this up, Belichick answered. I double-checked and I misread the text. I think they are naming Dabble. I'm sorry about that, BB. So, before Brian Dabble or Brian Flores interviewed for the team, they already chose Brian Dabble. That's it. They just chose him. Which that's obviously you're supposed to interview people. So today it came out that Brian Flores was the head coach of the Miami Dolphins. Today it came out that the owner for the Dolphins wanted to lose on purpose so that they could get a higher draft pick at the end of the season. So he told Brian Flores, I'll give you, I believe it's $100K per game that you lose. You have to throw. Obviously, he wants him to throw. You'll get $100K bonus per game for throwing so that we could get a higher draft pick. Brian Flores said, no, I don't do that. That's not something that I do. I would never do that. And they fired him. Yeah. They were everywhere.
Play that shit. He looks pissed. Oh, man. I would be fuming. That's a nice suit, though.
Let's hear from Brian Flores on MSNBC with Chris Hayes.
Along with his attorneys, Doug Wigdor and John Alefterakis. Good to have you gentlemen here. Coach Flores, great to have you here.
Great. Thank you for having us.
I want to start with this. The decision to file this suit.
Yeah.
I've covered Kaepernick for years now. I have watched what happened to him. He never played in the league again. And he never played in the league when people would sit there at home being like, man, if you use a quarterback in this league, are you worried about what this means for your future and why'd you decide to do it?
That's a question I've been asked a lot, and something I've thought about a lot. Something we talked about a lot as we came to the decision to file a lawsuit. And at the end of the day, this isn't about me. This is about black and minority coaches, black and minority leaders who don't get an opportunity to showcase their skills, their leadership, their acumen, their intelligence, their abilities in whatever field it is. And in my case, and in NFL's case, as coaches and leaders in this league. Look, I love coaching. I love it. I mean, it's a passion of mine. It's something that I feel like I'm gifted to do. And there's a lot of black and minority coaches who are gifted the same way I am. And we coach so we can impact young people so that they can go on and be not only good players, but good leaders in the community, good husbands, good fathers. It's not just football. It's never been that. And when you're, and we don't have enough coaches in leadership positions, black coaches in leadership positions, specifically in NFL. And that's a disservice to me. To me, that's a disservice to the majority of the players that are in the league that are working towards the goal of becoming better players, better teams, that they don't see that as a goal that they can attain because there's nobody in those seats. And I think there's a specific reason why we need to change the hearts and minds of the people who make those decisions.
I want to talk about your years at the Patriots and relationship with Bill Belichick. I mean, you started at the ground level of that organization at the age of, 23, right? You'd
23.
Been a player at Boston College. I think you got injured. You weren't able to go in the NFL. You start there. You're there 16 years, 4 Super Bowls. What was your experience working up the ladder in there? How do you feel about Bill Belichick?
I had a great experience there. There's a lot of great people in that building. There's a reason why they've had so much success. I learned a lot about the game, myself, how to prepare, how to work, how to coach, how to teach. I grew exponentially when I was there, and there's a lot of things I learned. I have a lot of respect for a lot of people in that building, so I have nothing but good memories there.
What was I think a lot of people I know, and I got to say, everybody's group texts were blowing up about this lawsuit, and they were blowing up particularly about the Belichick text exchange, which is a kind of a nightmare scenario.
Yeah.
I mean, I think for people who have texted a thing they shouldn't have, for someone who's in your position on the wrong side of it, what was that? What was your reaction in that moment?
Shock, disbelief, disappointment, humiliation.
Yeah, that's true.
Initially I thought he was talking to me, but once I found out that that wasn't meant for me, I was certainly in disbelief, certainly upset, and then I had a lot of different emotions about the hiring process and whether or not it was fair, whether or not I was going to get a real opportunity. It didn't sound like that and didn't feel like that, and that ended up being the case.
Chris, think about the fact that it took a mistaken text message to blow the lid off of everything that all black minority candidates for coaching, executive positions, and quite frankly, we know extends societally, have known for a long time and suspected, but you don't have that smoking gun where, obviously the numbers speak for themselves.
Right.
There can't just be one qualified black head coach to be a head coach in the NFL. That's ridiculous.
I gotta say, again, I've watched a lot of football. Like, the Dolphins were one of the stories this year. You guys started out 1-7, went 8-1 after that. A team that people had completely counted out was up until I think the 16th or 17th week of the season in the playoff hunt.
Yep.
Much to everyone's.
Chris,
the record there was pretty clear.
If you look at some of the stuff that happens, not just with the hiring, but with the firing practices as well, there are times in the rare instances when black head coaches are brought in, they're either outwardly asked to tank, or they're just not given the resources. And when that happens, they're put in a position to lose for a year, possibly 2, get fired. And then that's when they get a draft pick, they hire a white coach. And the thing that happened here is Coach did an exceptional job and won.
Well, that's part of the allegation lawsuit, and one of the most, I think, probably the single most explosive claim is this offer that the owner of the Dolphins. Can you tell me about what the conditions were like when he gave you that offer? Under how?
Well, before we get to that, I think, speaking to John's point on, what we deem as bridge coaches who come in and don't really get the resources. Those are oftentimes the jobs that, black minority coaches get.
It's fucked up.
It's unfortunate, but that's what it is. And I stepped into a situation like that. And to me, I accepted that challenge. I believe in my abilities as a coach, as a leader, as a motivator. So I was up for that challenge.
Bring in a black head coach when they know the team is shit. Get those picks, get those draft picks, get good players. Fire the black head coach and get a white head coach. That's
because they're losing. When you don't give them the resources that they need and they lose, they take that and they go, look, he's bad, and they hire the white coach. And crazy.
That's insane. And now that's on their resume. That's on his resume now. That he played for a shit team with shit resources, had a shit record, and then got fired. That's his resume. That's awful.
Well, actually,
that's awful.
Didn't they say that he did good?
No, yeah. Eventually, he did start doing good, but I'm just saying in general, not for him.
That's the recipe, right?
Right. Yeah, just anybody in general. Like he's saying, any black head coach, like that's insane. That's wild.
This I feel like has the potential to not only, because the crazy shit to me is like what I was gonna say originally was I think that this could definitely is gonna be a fucking movie. I can see this being a movie. So the owners of the organization, the NFL organization, they really gotta like put their heads together and be like, listen, what are we gonna do to this? Can we settle and save face? Or do we be like, no, we did it. We do, we didn't do anything wrong. We didn't want to hire him because we didn't want to hire him, which is probably going to be their defense. We have a right to have already a decision. And I kind of agree with this maybe, but like we have a right to have a decision who we're going to hire. It's not my fault this guy who's an idiot texted him the wrong thing. We didn't tell him to do that. That has nothing to do with us.
Right.
You know what I mean? They could say that. That's going to be their defense. But where they get fucked up with that is when they offered him the fucking, bribe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now that the bribe is alone gonna fuck them up. You know what I mean? So they may have a good chance of settling, I think. But he's pretty brave, bro.
Challenging. Unfortunately, I was asked to not put my best foot forward and best effort to win ball games, to tank. And look, this game's done a lot for me. It really has. It's opened doors that would have never been open for me, and that's the case not just for me. That's a lot of our players. A lot of the players in our league have that same story. And I think that's part of the reason why I relate so well to players. So to disrespect the game is it's something I wouldn't stand for, and ultimately that strained some relationships in Miami.
I'll keep you here a few more minutes, if that's all right. I want to ask, just to follow up.
This may be the first interview I don't say anything with your great opening. We may hire you at our firm to deliver the opening for the trial. I have to, let me just say, the only thing I really want to say is just the courage that Brian has shown to stand up. He is the Rosa Parks of the NFL right now, to show like putting himself second, because he's standing up, he's putting a lot on the line, and he's doing it to create this change, and it needs to happen.
I just fielded a call from a coach who, was in tears on the phone because of experiences that he's had and he's dealing with, and it just I even have more I have more peace about this decision.
Oh.
have more peace about it.
I want to present to you an argument that people will make about the Rooney Rule. It's not my personal view, but people will make it, which is that, okay, fine, there's a little bit of box checking here, but it does get you in the door.
The Rooney Rule is that
I had no idea what that was.
teams are required to interview, I think, at least two people of color, two minority people, when they're hiring for a job on the team. So that's the Rooney Rule. That's like we tried, we did it. We did the interview with the couple of black people. Ooh.
Is the Rooney Rule supposed to be something that they made up, or?
Yeah, it's an NFL thing. It's an NFL, like an affirmative action thing for the NFL.
Nice.
They're not in compliance. There's no rule that they have to contemplate you. They just have to interview you, and they did that. And maybe in 1 in 10 circumstances, you knock their socks off and they change direction. And what's so bad about that?
I would say I've heard that, and I understand that thought process to a degree, but I think the NFL is better than that. I think that the change that we need, I don't want to just come up with some new policies and say we're going to do this and do that and check some other boxes. What I'm looking for is a change in the hearts, and when I say I mean that, in the hearts and minds of people who make those decisions. People who haven't spent time with black and minority people over the course of their lives, who aren't comfortable. Mm-hmm. I think that we need to be intentional of opening our minds to forming new relationships with people from different backgrounds, spending time, understanding that there's a different perspective, maybe a better perspective, a different way to build relationships, a different way to communicate.
The Rooney Rule doesn't work. I mean, there's one, as we've said now a couple times, there's one black head coach. Yeah. I mean, I think it's time for the court to appoint a referee to oversee the NFL. I mean, the commissioner clearly isn't doing a good job at making sure that there's diversity amongst the coaches. It's time. That's why this litigation is so important. They haven't been able to do it on their own, and so now John and myself, and with the help obviously of our client and future clients as well, are going to make them do it.
And you know what? When you
try to get more people in
about this situation, how could it be equal opportunity to get a job?
These guys are going to be rich, these fucking lawyers.
Before the black or minority candidate interview. That's not an equal opportunity. And when you're talking about who's in the position of power, they're all white owners, and not anybody who's ultimately going to potentially step out on a limb and really give an opportunity.
I got to say that. And I'm sure you've seen reaction to this, and it's been everywhere, right? A lot of reaction from black folks I know, friends of mine, other people online, of this, like, I have been in that interview, and I have known I was trotted in there for window dressing, and I felt crazy and gaslit about it. Mm-hmm. And they went with another candidate, and there was something sort of re-traumatizing but catalyzing about seeing that text from Belichick to say, you're not crazy.
It confirmed what we thought was happening behind closed doors, and it confirmed that for me. And it's not just in football. It's in a lot of different industries.
Sure. Why was Belichick even consulting with the Bills and the Jets?
What he said?
Last time I checked, he's on the Patriots. He's coached the Patriots. So, like, what is he doing with that information? Makes no sense.
What is the best outcome of this to you?
We create real change. And by that, it's not policies. I don't want any fluff here. That's not what we're looking for.
You just went through the Rooney Rule charade.
This is not about fluff. We need real change. And that to me starts here in your heart.
Yeah.
And you only get that through conversation, through dialogue, through communication.
Through a lawsuit.
And I'm open to communicate with whoever it is about, what it's like to walk into that type of interview, what it's like for black and minority leaders on the field. I mean, we have a lot of there's different ways to lead on the field. I mean, there's your position, coordinators.
Yeah.
So there's so many qualified and capable leaders on many different staffs in this league, and they need a real opportunity. And we got to be intentional about giving them opportunities.
Well, Coach Flores, Brooklyn's own. It's really wonderful to meet you. Thank you for making the time.
Brooklyn's own.
Thank you,
Wow, it's
John
Brooklyn.
Lefterakis. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, he's from Brownsville Projects. Yeah, that it's crazy stuff. I hope he wins. I hope he wins that lawsuit. The NFL's a piece of shit. They're fucking whack. They're terrible. They've always been racist garbage. Always.
Yeah, that's horrible, man. I don't know how you can be a football fan without at the same time being critical of that bullshit right there.
Yeah.
Not very progressive of them. I'll say that.
They're not.
That's not very progressive.
They're not
NFL.
They're not progressive in the slightest, not even a little bit.
And you canceled Kaepernick, so NFL not very patriotic, not about the First Amendment at all. Don't like that.
They're shit. It's new. This is the newest.
This is the newest update.
All right.
Fuck is going on?
Russia, Ukraine drama bullshit. It's been going on now for a couple of weeks. Biden orders nearly 3,000 U.S. troops to Eastern Europe to counter Russia.
Meanwhile, Russia at that moment, like, they didn't really do too much. You know what I mean? Like, from the time where Russia is now,
Yeah.
then the United States threw the 3,000. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Russia's been there for a while. Even the Ukrainian, leaders are saying, "All right, United States, chill."
Yeah. I mean, that's not surprising at all. I mean, the U.S. is very horny to start war. They love, that.
Those politicians are crazy, bro. They're getting paid
We live
to
in an
go to war.
imperialist nation, and that's all. That's what it's all about. War, going to war.
Listen, boys and girls, politicians get paid by the weapons industry to pass policies, foreign policy that leads to war, because then they get to sell weapons to our allies and to other places on the low while the war is there. That's going to be a big distraction. Huge weapons deals across the United States.
Saudi Arabia.
And whoever's the president, it doesn't matter, guys. Biden, Trump, it doesn't matter. If you're dealing with a corporate politician, then you're dealing with someone who
is a warmonger.
Exactly. Like, they don't give a fuck about your children. They don't give a fuck about you, nothing. They'll send you off to war. You're expendable. They just want to all get paid. They're all just want to get paid. You know what I mean? We're hella expendable to them. What I mean is the politicians and the corporations that pay the politicians. And
lobbyists from the defense industry, they lobby to politicians.
Yeah.
And if they're feeling that politician, if that politician is telling them, sure, we're going to advocate for this policy, we're going to advocate to apply pressure to this country, blah, blah, blah. And then the defense corporation will pretty much decide, okay, that sounds good. We like that. We like that. We like that you're pushing those policies. Here is a $50,000 donation to your campaign. You know what I mean?
Son of a
Keep
bitch.
it going, and there's more where that came from.
Right.
And that's how it
then
works.
the media jumps in and makes it seem like these policies help. When the politicians do come on, they don't ask them about the policy, so it could just kind of breeze by, and they'll instead talk about other nice stuff, or the political presidential debates make me laugh the most. Like with the news when the news guy just like Anderson Cooper will ask Ted Cruz, so where does your family like to go to Florida? Like, where in Florida does your family enjoy? And when it's Bernie Sanders, they're like, how you gonna pay for it, Bernie? Huh?
Yeah.
How you gonna pay for Medicare for all? You trying to help everybody? Trying to give them all rainbows and butterflies?
It's
If
ridiculous.
you're paying attention as Americans, if you're paying attention, you'll see how ridiculous that is.
Right.
And you'll start looking into, the guy that they're doing it to, whoever it is, may it be Bernie Sanders or AOC. They shit on them with hard ass questions, and they'll answer them because they're real politicians. So they'll answer it as best as they can.
Yeah.
But
well,
it's like,
they'll answer because they stay true to their convictions. They have morals, and for them it's not hard to answer questions like that. You know what I mean? Because they're trying to do the right thing at the end of the day.
Right.
The politicians who struggle with those kinds of questions are the corporate politicians, whether it's Democrat or Republican. They're the ones who try to spin it, and they try to avoid these questions, and and they'll give the bullshit like, oh, it's complicated, we're dealing with it. The American people don't need to concern themselves with stuff like this, and blah, blah, blah. And for the most part, the American people listen because that's just the status quo. They're just like, okay, cool. And they'll go along with it. But yeah, I mean, as far as, United States weapons deals go, they're currently selling weapons to a fascist Saudi Arabia regime. And Saudi Arabia is using those weapons to bomb the living fuck out of Yemen. And they still are. They've been doing this forever. It's disgusting. It's horrible. Same with Israel. Supply Israel with all this military power, and they are fucking destroying Palestine. Destroying them completely. Yeah, so, the U.S. loves this, U.S. troops set to deploy. This is what they want. They want to stoke war. They're doing this because they want to stoke war.
they're paid to do it. They're paid to do it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, of course. Meanwhile, Russia, whether or not they're being honest, because they're authoritarian as well, they're denying an invasion. Moscow denies, which I personally feel is the likely outcome. I don't think they will invade because that's more shit for them to deal with. That's more money for them to lose. So I don't think they really want to do that,
Right. Well, it'll be if they did decide to attack Ukraine, it'll be a fucking hell of a hard war, bro. Yes, definitely they'll be depleted when it comes to funds. You don't have money to pay your soldiers, the morale's gonna go hella down. You know what I mean? And also, once you get more towards the west, you got those mountains there, and it's harder terrain for them to take over, which is going to be even more of losses for them. Right. You know what I mean?
That's all NATO territory as well, which they're not going to, they can't do that. You know what I mean? Going into NATO territory, it's over. That's war. That's immediate war with the NATO nations and the United States, of course. So.
Right. So, but that's what I'm saying. So if you're not willing to go that far, then you're probably not willing to cross the border. You know what I mean? Because then what's it all worth? You're just going to back up and look like the loser here. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So I guess his plan, if he did attack, would be to control enough of the East where he just extends the territory. You understand? And he creates a new border. He can do that, but I don't know. I don't have access to this information to make the correct choice as the president of the United States.
Yeah, I mean, there's only one part of the border that they can enter from realistically. That's the east side that borders with them, with Russia and Ukraine. So. we'll see what happens. I hope it doesn't get any worse. Um, there's no need for lives to be lost at all.
Yeah, well, I'm more worried about nuclear war. I don't want to get blown to smithereens. You know what I mean? When their missiles come through, and they may not even nuke us. They may nuke England. They may nuke other places at the same time. Like millions of people could potentially die if our defenses don't hold up. I know they would. America.
Yeah, but
But
the nuclear option is so dire. You know what I mean? It's such a last resort, at least to me, because the nuclear option, it's not like you're going to nuke somebody and then be like, okay, we nuked you, they're going to get nuked to holy hell, Russia, if that happens.
yeah.
If they nuke anybody, an ally, the United States itself, you think they're not
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. If you're not willing to do that, then what's the chances of you passing the border? You know what I mean? You're not going to pass that border, which means what you're doing at the border on your side, is that just for show? Like,
yes, that's what I think it is. Yes.
As the president of the United States, you must know that. Yes, of course. You have to be thinking that, right? I mean, strategically.
Yeah, they're
Like,
posturing.
you are the leader of the free world right now. What do you think Biden's thinking right now? You know what I mean? This is why these old motherfuckers can't be president no more.
Fuck what
man.
Biden's thinking. Biden wants war. Fuck what he's thinking. He's getting paid by the military-industrial complex, so he doesn't give a fuck.
He's not being a president at all right now. If he lets this happen,
yeah, Biden order. This is how he's thinking.
Yeah.
This is how Biden's thinking right now. So
he's trying to look strong. What a fucking idiot.
yeah,
He thinks that this looks strong. It doesn't, bro.
yeah. Either he
And
thinks
that
it looks
doesn't-
strong, or he knows that this is gonna make Russia a little twitchy on the trigger. You know what I mean?
Right.
He wants them to do something. And ideally, what most United States politicians, corporate politicians, want is for Russia's response to this to be like, oh, you're sending 3,000 U.S. troops, now we're gonna invade, or we're gonna do this. They want a response. They want a response because once Russia responds, they can respond. Boom, 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 and war picks up. War will pick up eventually.
So that's crazy. Like, it's crazy because then you go, oh, then who started it, right? But the answer would be Russia. You fucking started it.
It would be
Back
Russia.
the fuck up. Back the fuck up, bro. If you're not willing to cross, then back up, bro. You know what I mean? Don't get yourselves killed. It's not like Ukraine's gonna back down, bro. They're gonna fight you. So you're gonna start losing men. You know what I mean? You don't have the economy that you're trying to show that you have. You don't have that economy. I mean, eventually they'll run out of money to pay their soldiers.
Well,
I think.
forget paying soldiers. I mean, you just need money for any military expense, weapons,
Food, yeah,
everything,
weapons,
everything.
yeah, oh yeah.
So
It's a lot, bro, and
yeah, let's hope things calm down. But sending 3,000 U.S. troops is not calming down.
Oh, yeah, and that's just what's heading there now. They already have a signed order to deploy 5,800 more additional troops on reserve to be sent out when notice. So they're basically letting Russia know we're sending 3,000 now, and if you retaliate, we're sending another 5,800 for a total of 8,800.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? That's huge.
it's ridiculous. It's bullshit.
I mean, that's like that's an army, kid. That's
Yeah, it's the biggest army in the world, biggest military in the world.
damn, son.
Yeah, Russia's two main demands: that Ukraine be barred from ever joining NATO, and that deployments of troops in Eastern European countries that join the alliance after the end of the Cold War will be rolled back. That's what they want. But those have been denied.
From ever joining NATO. No. You can attack them any time you want.
Yeah, the Ukraine
can't let you do
obviously
that.
wants to be a part of NATO.
Yeah, they're completely scared.
They need to.
of
They need NATO.
Right. But damn, man, think about you being Russia and you're like, what the fuck? Like, yeah, motherfuckers is right there, son. Because once Ukraine joins NATO, the United States can move up, essentially, create bases there and make it nice and easy for us to put a nice little nuke there so we can nuke you at an even closer range. You know what I mean? Eventually, down the years, things will be built.
Yeah.
If they were to join, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, what Russia wants to do is expansionism. They want to. The Ukraine was part of Russia when they were the USSR, Soviet Union. So all those countries that were part of the Soviet Union, Putin's goal is to reclaim them. He wants them back. You know, he wants to expand
Right.
Russia. So, you know, that's really the goal here with Ukraine.
Ukraine was hard, bro. It's crazy, guy. I was just playing Risk yesterday, man. He's moving up his troops and he wants that territory.
Yeah.
And now you're making everybody upgrade their armies out by the border.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy because they're at the expense of American lives. You know what I mean? Russian lives, Ukrainian lives.
Right.
You know, we forget about the real hard shit to talk about. What about Nina?
Russia?
What about Nina Turner?
What about Nina Turner? Let's go back. All right.
Nina Turner for Congress.
Nina Turner running again for Congress. I mean, I love Nina Turner.
Cool.
Nina Turner's amazing. She's one of my favorite, probably my favorite politician, favorite advocate, social justice advocate, you name it, progressive, leftist, democratic socialist. She's amazing. She's, you know, one of the strongest voices, one of the most powerful voices there is. And she sticks to her convictions, man. She doesn't give a fuck what anybody has to say. Obviously, she was the campaign co-chair for the Bernie campaign, both times.
Yeah.
And she's awesome. Whenever she was on stage campaigning for Bernie, forget it, bro. She's amazing.
I'm gonna send this to you. Is when she announced her bid Congress yet again for the second time. She lost the first time, and it was, I don't even think it was that close, to be honest.
It was close. It was a little close.
It was close.
Yeah, because let's go to.
What she did lose, but that's the thing, man. She doesn't give up, and she's going in at it again. Her opponent is that, I don't even know what's her name. I just know she's another black African American woman.
Right here. Here are the results. Chantel Brown. Nina Turner. So it was pretty
Ooh,
close.
that shit was pretty close. Ooh.
Yeah.
I wonder what Chantel Brown was doing during her tenure as Congresswoman
You
there.
mean what she's currently doing?
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
When is this race?
Next year, or I think, or I don't know if it's this year. I'll look it up now. But yeah, Chantel Brown is a puppet candidate installed by the DNC, the Democratic Party. She's nobody really. She's a nobody of any significance. She's a complete puppet. The DNC funneled tons of money into her campaign, tons of corporate money into her campaign, and this happened. That started to pick up after Nina Turner released a not an ad, but like a social media post showing how far ahead she was in polling compared to Chantel Brown. She was way ahead at that time, and that was it. Once they saw that, once the Democratic Party saw that, they went all in on Chantel Brown to make sure Nina Turner would not win, and it worked. Of course, like always, it works.
Still, she got, what is that? 44%? That's pretty fucking.
Yep, it worked. Lots of smear campaigns, lots of propaganda campaigns, MSNBC and CNN smearing the ever-living shit out of Nina Turner, trying to prop up Chantel Brown. Chantel Brown has nothing. She has no progressive policies. She is not fighting for the people at all. Like,
Did she do anything? Well, I mean, I would love to learn her, know her votes to see what the hell she voted for. I have her ad here.
It doesn't even matter. She's nothing. She's a puppet. She's trash.
Yeah.
She's just another typical corporate Democrat who doesn't stand for anything, who has no morals at all.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I seen one of her speeches. She had 5 people in the crowd.
It's awful.
And I think she was also accused of using fake applause machine.
Yeah.
At what she was doing it. Yeah.
It's insane. And these people they win. And
I give it that shit went. That alone should have crushed her whole campaign right there. That alone should have crushed the whole campaign. Wow. You would think that news media would definitely mention that. She had a noise machine. Just so I know. Yeah. You know what I mean?
No, mainstream media would never mention that. They would never.
But that would be the more ideal story to tell, in my opinion. I mean, like you said, they didn't talk about it, but the news sources that I watched, they talked about it.
Well, yeah, like for normal, fact reporting individuals, sure. But this is mainstream media we're talking about. They're never going to report that, ever. That's their candidate. They want her to win. They don't want Nina Turner to win. So they're never going to be like, up next on CNN, Chantel Brown used fake applause at her political rally. That will never happen.
That would never happen.
Damn. Instead, they say radical socialist Nina Turner. That's how they'll always describe her. Radical socialist Nina Turner wants to raise taxes and give handouts. So vote for Chantel Brown. And it works. It fucking works so well. And
but if Nina catches that chick in some kind of fucking debate, oh man, all that girl gotta do is agree to one debate, and Nina will rip her to shreds.
Of course.
And that's what's cool about politics to me. When you watch them debate, and one is like a fiery ass progressive that just they know what they're talking about, and Nina Turner's a huge example of that, man, for sure. I mean, when you listen to her talk and do her speeches, she makes sense, but you can tell she believes in it too,
I'm going to look up real quick All right, so here's the Democratic primary for that seat in the House is on May 3rd. Wow, that's soon. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I had the feeling that it was pretty soon. Because
Okay.
she's running.
Yeah. Fucking support Nina Turner now, please.
Yeah,
Please.
oh my God.
Get, even if you don't have to be from Ohio, you know what I mean? Her politics don't only affect Ohio, they affect the country because she represents a vote in the House, or at least she would. So, spread the word,
man.
donate a buck or two here or there. I donated her previous campaign a few times.
Yeah, so did I. I would just focus on looking at her policies. She's for Medicare for all,
Let's go to her page.
tax breaks for the rich.
Issues. Nina Turner. What does Nina Turner believe in? Economic justice. What's economic justice? A living wage that adjusts for inflation. Strengthen and expands unions. Equal pay for equal work. Expand workplace protections for the LGBTQIA plus community by passing the Equality Act, make credit and banking services available to all communities, make the ultra wealthy and large corporations pay their fair share, increase protections and employment opportunities for our disabled community. All of this sounds
Great.
great and like
I don't have a problem with that.
normal, at least to me or most progressives,
Yeah, that should be a big fat
pretty
duh.
pretty
You know what I mean?
normal shit that exists in almost every other developed nation on earth that is not here. This is embarrassing for these things to not exist in the greatest country in the world. This is fucking embarrassing. Completely embarrassing. You know what I mean? And the mainstream media will go and rally against this, against these things, and say that this is communism, socialism, handouts, garbage, dude. Come on, people. Don't.
Just follow the money is what we're fucking trying to say. Follow the fucking money. Know whose best interest is not their own pockets, and know people like Nina Turner, progressives. And there's a big difference between a progressive Democrat and a corporate Democrat. Her opponent is a corporate Democrat. She's paid, and her policies are going to benefit them. When this person doesn't take corporate PAC money, you know what I mean? She takes only small amount donations, like Denny mentioned earlier, I think.
Small dollar donations.
Right. So just regular people giving her money. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the max you can donate as a person is $2,700 per campaign, and that's it. So, rich people. When I say rich people, actors, singers who are progressive, who are socialists, they'll donate the whole $2,700 in one shot. I've seen Dave Bautista. He's done it. He did it with the Bernie campaign. He showed his receipt and everything on Instagram. $2,700 to the Bernie campaign. Boom. And that's amazing.
That's cool.
That's great. We can't let rich people, by way of the mainstream media, convince us that these things you're looking at on the screen are bad. I mean, how?
Oh, they'll try.
Not only they'll try, they do it, and it fucking works. Once again, it works. These things work.
Yeah.
Americans.
Well, to be honest with you, motherfuckers just gotta wake up, bro. Like, if you're like 25, I'll let you rock if you're you should really do it at 18. And I think the newer generation will be definitely voting as soon as they turn 18. The new generations, you know what I mean?
Yeah, a lot of them are.
I think that's increasing, so there's a lot of hope there. But if you're like 25 to 36 or 25 to 40 years old and you don't vote, if you're a millennial like me and you don't vote, bro, like, what are you doing with your life? What are you concerned of? Because you have to vote and understand who you're throwing in there, bro, because we have people who are not thinking of us in their best interests, in control of the direction in which we're all going to go and abide by their fucking consequences. So
yeah,
just pay the fuck attention, bro.
not vote. I mean, I used to not vote. I only started voting recently after I, got into politics and whatnot. But it's perfectly understandable for not wanting to vote. You know what I mean? It's perfectly understandable to be like, these politicians are corrupt. You want me to vote for piece of shit A or piece of shit B? How about I just not vote at all because they're not going to do anything for me? And you'd be right. You'd be 100% right about that. However, there are plenty of local races, state races that have progressive and socialist candidates that at the very least you should look into. Look at what they're about, what their policies are. A lot of them are winning, especially in New York. There's a few already Democratic Socialists who have won on the state level. Julia Salazar is an example. So, voting for local state elections is important. Voting in primaries, voting in Democratic primaries is so important. Because that's the person that you pick to go on to face the Republican in the general.
Exactly. The Republicans go for their own primaries, just
they
because
have their
I don't
own
know, they choose their
primaries.
own wacky ass primaries where they just pretty much kiss. Now the primaries is just full of who could kiss Donald Trump's ass more.
Yeah.
Like you literally listen to them talk good about him, both of them, as they're arguing with each other. It's very weird.
They're ridiculous. They can go fuck themselves. But
oh my god, the primaries are hilarious though.
the primaries are so important, man. And if more people voted in the primaries, the presidential Democratic primaries, it would be we would have a different outcome. But
yeah, definitely would.
People still don't vote. Young people still don't vote enough. More are voting now, sure, but still not enough. The primaries are super, super important. If you don't want somebody like fucking Joe Biden running and you have to suck it up and be like, fuck it, I'll vote for Joe Biden because I don't want Trump. That sucks, man. That sucks to make that kind of vote. Such a hopeless vote. You want to be excited to be like, of course, I'm voting. This is the nominee. I'm excited that this is the nominee. This person I feel can bring about some sort of positive change to working class people. And boom, we got to get them in there. So Nina Turner, as long as she wins the primary, there is a good chance, because if I'm not mistaken, that's a blue district. There's a good chance that she'll go on and win the general against whoever the Republican is. So that's exactly why the primary, especially in this case, is more important than the general.
Right.
Because Nina Turner has to get in there. Yeah, she has to get in there. So
she'll destroy that fucking Republican in the general. It's a little.
Thanks, Jonathan.
Okay, so Nina, what will be different about this campaign than the one you ran a few months ago?
Well, it's a new district, new people, new time. I mean, it really is what Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. called the fierce urgency of now. People are suffering in this district. They're suffering all over the country. And people deserve and need somebody that is going to stand up and be a champion for them, the poor, the working poor, and the barely middle class. And Jonathan, it's not just enough to vote the right way. We got to get out here on the front lines and fight for the people.
So then specifically, what would you want to work on if you were to come to Congress?
Well, certainly I believe that the minimum wage should be raised to at least $15 an hour. I think we're at a point where we should be talking more about a living wage. That is an opportunity that the Democrats have that certainly we could use right now in this particular moment. People's income is not keeping up, or their wages is not keeping up with inflation, and there's a lot of suffering going on. Expansion of voting rights, we're fiercely battling that in the 21st century. Absolutely makes no sense. And so you have Republicans who have definitely lost their ever-loving minds, to quote my grandmother, and then you have two Democrats that stood in the way of changing a rule in the Senate, no doubt, of changing a rule that would protect democracy itself, which is linked, Jonathan, to every.
That is Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema. Garbage.
Trash. Trash shoots. Fake Democrats.
Real Democrats. They're real Democrats.
Corporate Democrats.
Yeah, I mean, they're the embodiment of the Democratic Party. But they're corporate trash, corporate garbage. Don't give a fuck about anybody. Doesn't give a fuck about poor people, working class people. They're trash.
The other thing that people like me want to push and fight for.
One thing that's not been resolved here in Washington is whether there's going to be another bite at the apple on Build Back Better. If you were in Congress, what two things would absolutely have to be in a revised Build Back Better to get your vote if you were in Congress?
I mean, expanding and making permanent the child tax credit. Far too many children are living in poverty, even right here in my home city of Cleveland, which is the poorest city of its size right now. We have got to have that. And Jonathan, you narrowed me down to two. Paid leave is so important. So many people are punching the clock and they have to go to work sick, or if somebody in their family gets sick and they will not get paid. I mean, we really have to give people something they can feel. The poor, the working poor, and the barely middle class deserve so much more than what they're getting right now. And we know that corporations are doing extraordinarily well while everyday people from all walks of life are not. And we can do something about it. Poverty is a policy choice.
Mm-hmm. So I want to put up the results of the special Democratic primary from last time. And you see Shontel Brown, now Congresswoman Shontel Brown, got, if my math is right, 5.5% more of the vote than you did. Why do you think you will do something that is kind of almost impossible, and that is to unseat an incumbent?
Oh, shut the fuck up.
We're going to make the possible, seemingly impossible, possible. It has happened.
There you go. I'm sorry.
Percent
this is
more
crazy.
of the vote than you did. Why
I can't
do
believe
you
you said
think you will do something that is kind of almost impossible, and that is to unseat an incumbent?
We're going to make the impossible, the seemingly impossible, possible. It has happened, and we are fighting to make sure that that happens again. It's a new district. It is new people, and it is absolutely a new time. And Jonathan, what many people may not know is that several hundred Republicans actually voted in this special primary. And I think that all Democratic primary voters would agree that Democrats should decide the outcome of a Democratic primary and also democratically leaning incumbents. That was a special election. The outlay will change at this particular time. And so this is worth fighting for. Our children
I didn't know that.
Are worth fighting for. Our future is worth fighting for. And the people of Greater Cleveland know that I am a fighter.
Oh, pause this.
Nina.
Did she just say that Republican voters voted?
Yeah, so
in the Democratic primary?
No, it wasn't a Democratic primary. It was a special election.
Okay.
Because the previous congressperson, Martha Fudge, stepped down. Oh, no, she didn't step down. She got chosen to be on Biden's administration. So there's an open seat, so they have a special election. And the special election it's an open election, so anybody can vote.
I see.
Yeah, so of course
Republicans. And then this time she's doing a primary. Yeah, of course they're going to vote for Shontel Brown.
This is a primary. This is a Democratic primary.
So now they can't vote, right?
No.
Nice. Ooh, this might be the gap. And I'll say this. That guy saying that shit pissed me off so much, bro. Like, how is it impossible? You know what the word impossible means? Impossible to who? You? Yeah. Don't you understand that this happened in the past? You know what I mean? It ain't impossible. You're trying to discourage my voters from coming out is really what he's trying to do.
Yeah. You can't really go by the past or history because times are different now. You know what I mean? There's a big progressive wave going on and more people are voting than before. You know what I mean? So you can't just be like, well, it was impossible before, or it never happened before. It doesn't even matter, dude. AOC dethroned Joe Crowley, the person who was next in line to replace Nancy Pelosi as speaker. That's impossible.
That's huge.
That's impossible.
Took out the number one Democrat, the new number one Democrat.
Right.
she took out before he even became number one. That was
Right.
crazy, son.
That's something impossible. You know what I mean? So, this guy, he's on MSNBC. He's a clown.
I have to say,
All the small dollar donations.
Looking at my Twitter feed, there are a lot of people who are mad at you and mad at you because of the nastiness of the special primary campaign. A lot of people who say, I'm turning the channel. I don't want to hear what she has to say. What do you say to folks who might still be mad about the last campaign? What do you say to them?
Oh man, he's trying to make it look real bad.
FYI, nasty.
Bro, this is horrible.
FYI, nasty is usually a word that politicians and mainstream media attribute to women, especially women who are outspoken, like Nina Turner. They usually, if you listen to Donald Trump, he uses that like crazy. He puts that label nasty onto women all the time. He did it with the Squad like fucking crazy.
Have them hear you out as a candidate.
He's funny.
I mean, when you are a change agent, you certainly don't please everybody. I'm mad too. I'm mad about what happened in the last election as well. It was very contentious, and the very forces that came in to pollute the dynamics of that race are the same forces that are polluting the dynamics in D.C. right now. Those forces that are against expanding health care, those forces that are against lifting the minimum wage, those forces that are against making sure that voting is unfettered and that the access is there for each and every person. And so I am a fighter. I'm a hell-raising humanitarian, and I make no apologies for that. But when dark money comes into a district in the way that it came in to the 11th congressional district in a special election, Jonathan, it stirs up a lot. So I got something in common with some of those folks. I'm mad too. And I hope, it is my sincere hope, that the issues are pushed forward and that dark money that really does not care about the destiny of the people in greater Cleveland, that they do not come in and try to dilute and also pollute the election process this time. This is really about giving people something that they can feel. This is not about me or anybody else that may be running in this election. This is about who will fight for the people who need it the most, the people who are suffering the most in this country. And if standing up unapologetically for Medicare for all is wrong, Jonathan, I don't want to be right. If making sure that people have paid family and medical leave is wrong, I don't want to be right. If ensuring
tell he
that
likes her. Deep down, he likes her.
do not continue to dictate in this country how much prescription drugs cost is wrong, then I don't want to be right. And I am in some good company, both present day and also historically. I am a fighter for the people.
Nina Turner, in a matter of fairness, I have to give you the opportunity. What's your website?
He wants to end it.
NinaTurner.com. That is NinaTurner.com. Please join us.
Yeah, dying to cut that shit off. Dying to
get the fuck out of there.
Fuck that fucking dork. Fucking loser. Nina Turner is amazing.
He just looks like deep down inside, he's like, God damn it, I like her. Oh, I fucking like her so fucking much, but I'm paid not to. I'm paid not to.
He doesn't feel that way. I can put money on that. He's an establishment stooge. People like her fuck up his money. Period.
Oh, yeah, well, that's another way of looking at it. Yeah, that's true.
They don't. These people.
Maybe he does hate her.
These people don't fuck with people like Nina Turner. She's amazing.
Man, he sounded so like an asshole, bro.
Yeah, fucking.
Like I would have been.
Yeah, Nina Turner's. She's great. Everything she said there is amazing. For people to go against that, or I don't know, think otherwise, you're out of your fucking mind. I mean, come on, be real. Be real with yourself. Be real when it comes to your future, your kids' future. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. It's crazy. So,
Yeah, it definitely sounds fucking crazy. We live in a crazy world. You just gotta open up your motherfucking eyes and see how crazy it is. That's what it's all about, kid.
Yeah, and everything Everything she said there was right. You know, if all those things are wrong, then why would you want to be right? You know, why? For what?
I like how she flipped the conversation. She was like, "Yeah, you're saying that I'm mad. You're trying to make it seem like I'm just the next angry black woman." Okay, well, yeah, I'm mad. I'm mad that we don't have $15 million wage. I'm mad. I'm mad like you guys, like the people of this city. I'm like, oh shit, she flipped it on him, dude.
Not only that,
That's so smart.
One thing I wish he would have said after he said, "Oh, well, people are mad, you know, that you're running again." Those people that are mad don't like her to begin with. Those people that are mad were never going to vote for her to begin with. You understand? So fuck the people that are mad. Who cares about these people that are fucking mad? This is what the Democratic Party does. They fucking pander to right-wingers and the Republican Party all the time. They always try to meet in the middle and fucking pander to the right all the time. That's what corporate Democrats do. That's what moderate Democrats do. They do it all the fucking time. Why would you if they're still going to hate you? They're still not going to vote for you. They're still going to call you a socialist and a communist. Fuck them. You're not running for those people.
Yeah. Well, you know, being on TV like that, that's probably it should just probably be like. I mean, you just have to just say what it is. Like those people are never. They're not Nina Turner fans. My voters will come out for me, and I'm trying to make those voters understand that I'm a different choice. That I'm the correct choice. You know, those independents that may have voted in the primaries.
Yeah.
And that open election, you know, she can grab those votes. So when she hits the general, she's
even more so is the non-voters. The non-voters are the people who you really want to get as well. You know what I mean? The people who have been disenfranchised from voting, like I just said earlier. People who are just like, why am I going to vote if these politicians are corrupt anyway and they don't do anything for me? Those are the people that you need to vote for you. Those are the people who you need to convince, listen, I know what you're going through. I know what the working class is going through, and I'm here to fight to make your life better, to make your kids' life better. And and I hope those people are listening. I really do.
That'd be cool if you're listening.
Listening to us and listening to Nina Turner.
Yeah. And where else we watched? Oh, I was gonna show Chantel Brown.
What, a video?
Well, I just I wanted to see if she did like a campaign ad. Like,
I mean, she has a website that says absolutely nothing on it. Actually,
hey, good night, sweetheart. Bye.
Today, she just put on Twitter, I'm proud to now support Medicare for all. Thanks, Jayapal, Congressman Jayapal. So she's essentially endorsing Jayapal's Medicare for all bill, which doesn't mean much. People should also know that too. Corrupt politicians like to pander that way, where they'll be like, "Oh yeah, Medicare for all. Yeah, I support that. Kamala Harris did it."
Right.
And
the vice president.
Yeah, they'll say that. Oh yeah, Bernie's bill or Jayapal's bill. Those are the two main bills. Jayapal and Bernie are the two main Medicare for all bills. They'll come out and be like, "I support Medicare for all. I support Jayapal's Medicare for all bill." And then when it really comes down to it, that's when the bullshit starts. Oh, right. I would change one or two things here and there, blah, blah, blah. And they'll move the goalpost till they get to the point where they're like, you know what, we decided that it's best that we don't support Medicare for all, which is literally what Kamala Harris fucking did. She literally did this.
Oh, yeah. Tulsi Gabbard, too.
And then they'll Tulsi Gabbard, too. And then they'll come out saying...
Tulsi's a Republican now. I heard she switched to an R.
Yeah, she's not a politician anymore, though.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, she's not a politician anymore.
I didn't know that.
She's just a right-wing piece of shit. Yeah, and then they'll start pushing for the public option, and we should switch to the public option. It's more efficient. It's trash, by the way. It's still private healthcare.
Right.
And then they'll even abandon that too, because that's what Biden ran on. He ran on the public option. You see him
That's
talking
true.
about a public option right now? No.
Nope. Everybody's the same shit.
Student loan debt.
Media don't ask them anything about that. Media staying nice and quiet about that shit. They don't want us talking about it.
No
You
way.
have to almost go to independent media in order to even know that that's happening. You know what I mean?
Yeah, independent media is. That's the only place you're going to get factual news like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, student loan debt, another one. Biden campaigned hard on student loan debt. That shit is gone. That shit is in the trash, on fire. Not happening.
Yo, man. But I've read a story that this guy kept having seizures, so he wasn't able to pay his student loan debt to about $100,000 of student debt, and the judge sided with him and decided to wipe his debt because he was proven that he can't work and pay off the debt because he keeps having these seizures. So, the judge said, you know what? You're right, bro. I'm going to wipe it. I'm going to side with you. You win the court case. And then the Biden administration appealed the case. So they appealed the judge's decision, and it's going to go to another court, So, potentially it could be a whole new judge, and then that's it. He smacks it down, and the kid has to stay with debt as he has to deal with his health problems because he can't work.
That's disgusting. Yeah, that's disgusting. It's just one person too. That's disgusting. Completely disgusting.
And a side note about that is the guy who's part of Joe Biden's administration, who has control of those types of situations, is the only Trump employee that was left in the White House when Trump exited. This is the guy that was.
Yeah, not surprising.
He worked for the Trump administration. He worked for the Biden administration.
Yeah, this country hates poor people. Hates poor people.
Man,
so much.
I feel so bad for that kid, bro.
It's capital over everything.
He's like 35. He's around our age, man.
Yeah, that's awful.
It's like your boy, he's pretty cool as fuck. He's just going through some shit right now, son, like health-wise. And now he has that huge financial burden appealed by maybe the guy you voted for, Joe Biden, because you can't stand Trump. Like, I voted for Biden, you know what I mean? So, just to know that the guy I voted for did that, it pisses me off.
Yeah, he's doing a lot worse things than that as well. Like bombing the living fuck out of brown people overseas.
Yeah, selling the weapons to the people, Saudi Arabia, who's been proven to be responsible for 9/11, by the way.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, they're a huge ally over there. The women can't even drive over there. They get smacked up.
They're a fascist regime. They're completely fascist.
Why are we supporting fascist regimes?
Because we're fascist. That's why.
Damn.
Because this is a fascist country as well. This is a far right country.
This is a corporatist country for sure. It's all about the money, man. Everything we do is about the money. That's it. We all want to get paid.
It's capital
That's
over
it.
everything. Police. That's what police protect. Police protect capital. They don't protect people. They protect capital. They protect the interests of the ultra wealthy and the ultra rich. That's what it's all about, But in reality, it should be labor over capital all day, every day. Labor over capital.
Word.
Anyway, this is a pretty cool website. If you ever want to debunk bullshit coming from your racist uncle. It says right here, Health Feedback is a worldwide network of scientists sorting fact from fiction in health and medical media coverage. Our goal is to help readers know which news to trust. So this is a pretty good source. I mean, this is a pretty big one. Everybody, Joe Rogan is in the news a whole lot of late for peddling a lot of COVID misinformation, disinformation. And boom, you have it right here. Robert Malone on the Joe Rogan podcast. He says, the COVID-19 vaccines are experimental and ineffective. Natural immunity is superior to the vaccine-induced immunity. Vaccine-induced spike protein is dangerous, causes serious side effects. Omicron is a mild variant. It is absolutely able to escape prior vaccination. Robert Malone made multiple misleading or unsubstantiated claims about COVID-19 and vaccines on the Joe Rogan Experience podcast. Verdict, inaccurate. Whoops.
And then they give you...
Here are the details. Inaccurate. COVID-19 vaccines aren't experimental. They demonstrated their efficacy and safety in clinical trials before receiving authorization. Unsupported. No scientific evidence suggests that the spike protein generated by vaccination causes any harm. Large clinical trials found no evidence that hydroxychloroquine and ivermectin are effective at preventing or treating COVID-19. Jesus. I mean,
wow.
It's plain and simple. Misleading.
Yeah.
Contrary to Malone's claims, COVID-19 vaccines have a high safety profile and remain effective against severe illnesses caused by the Omicron variant. A booster dose enhances and prolongs protection. So this is not like one doctor coming out of nowhere and being like, this guy's wrong. This is multiple doctors, multiple scientists. This is peer-reviewed studies. Peer-reviewed is so key in these studies. If it's not peer-reviewed, then it doesn't mean shit. These are peer-reviewed studies. There are so many numbers, there's so much fucking data that backs this up, that the vaccines are working and dropping infection rates and hospitalization. The overwhelming majority of hospitalization, Jesus, I can't talk, are unvaccinated people.
Right. Yeah. And it's causing a huge stir. Now a lot of hospitals are being like full, and someone breaks their arm or leg, they may have to wait very uncomfortably for a bed. And they may not even be able to be taken in.
It's awful. Yeah.
They have to be treated in the hallways like this is some kind of fucking third world country and shit.
This happened to my girlfriend's grandmother recently. She went to the hospital and she was waiting there forever because it was booked with COVID patients. That's awful.
That's horrible, man. Fuck.
Realistically, they should be at the back of the line. You know what I mean? If you didn't want to protect yourself, you got to wait. Now you have to wait. I don't give a fuck.
Man, it's a tough decision, bro.
It is tough.
It really is.
But I don't
it
give a
is
fuck.
tough, man.
Because now people who are really in need, who whatever it is, they have a sickness or an illness that, they can't deal with, or that there's no vaccine for, whatever it is. People who really need help now can't get help because hospitals are booked with unvaccinated.
And also, you're putting the nurses at risk as well, man. You're putting yourself at risk. You're putting the nurses at risk every single day. They come in to take care of your ass because you're in the fucking hospital now. I mean, you should at least sign some kind of disclaimer, because if you go into the hospital, then you're in really bad shape. Am I right?
Sure.
Like you're all fucked up. Think about it. So when you come in, if you want help from the hospital, you have to sign this. You have to sign legal paper saying you're gonna get vaccinated at the end of that treatment, and then hopefully you can stop them from continuously coming to the hospital when they get these symptoms.
That's not gonna stop. That's not gonna stop anybody. Once somebody's sick, they're gonna go. But like I said in the previous episode, what sense does that make if you're not listening to doctors when they're saying get vaccinated, but all of a sudden you want to listen to them when you're sick? Come on, be fucking real. This is also super important. The highly contagious Omicron variant has led to record numbers of COVID-19 cases worldwide. Although COVID-19 vaccines are much less effective at preventing infection by this variant compared to previous ones, they remain effective against severe illness and death. Current data indicates that a booster dose enhances this protection. Safety data shows that the benefits of COVID-19 vaccines far outweigh their known and potential risks. I want to strangle people.
What are the potential risks?
Figure
Do we know that? To me, it's too late now.
Yeah,
I got the shot.
Potential risks usually refer to an underlying condition that somebody may have, and then the vaccine triggers that underlying condition. These are ultra rare cases. I mean, very, very rare cases.
Right. I guess it's just something you got to talk about with your doctor.
Of course. Yeah, of course. But, if you don't believe your doctor, then one, you're a fucking idiot. Two,
well, that's the doctor. They'll believe the doctor and almost anything he says until he says, and you got to get the vaccine. Nope. That's it.
Yeah.
Listen, man, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah. Yep. Pretty much. All right.
And this guy went on the Joe Rogan show. And, for me, personally, I feel like, and right after Joe Rogan, I believe he went to Alex Jones' show and said some weird shit over there. But the fact that Joe Rogan was such a huge fan of, like, science and global warming, like, he understood that the scientists are right. Like, when he explained global warming to Candace Owens, it was epic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, it's not too different, the vaccine situation and global warming explanation, the similarity being all scientists agree. So for him to just listen to this guy, you know what I mean? And believe that he's saying the truth over all the other people that are saying he's not telling the truth, you know what I mean? Or like, he's not correct. It's just crazy how Joe Rogan, it makes you think Joe Rogan's paid to be on this side. Like, maybe from somebody's paying that motherfucker. I'm gonna say it. Fuck it.
No, I think he sees the money in the right wing grift. He sees it because I mean, look, he signed with Spotify, and then he got that new studio in Texas. I don't know if you remember, but when that happened, his show was on the decline a little bit. He had kind of lame guests. It wasn't interesting at all. The studio looked stupid. He changed it now. And yeah, once he started with the COVID bullshit, the numbers went up. Of course. Once people hear someone on the internet validate how they feel, they love it. And they're going to gravitate towards it. And that's exactly what happened with Joe Rogan. A bunch of white dudes, majority, saw that. And they saw that he was starting a lot of COVID denial, a lot of ivermectin bullshit, all this other shit. And his views started going up. Of course they did. And I'm positive that he saw that and was like, oh shit. This is working.
But the crazy thing is, the smarter decision for him would have been to invite those people, just like he's been doing, and also invite left-wing leaning people and, maybe other scientists that can confirm and have proof. That way it can show in real time his mind changing from left to right or from right to left. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you'll have the fans up from the right. They love when you do the, I don't know, what should I choose? And the fans from the left, you know what I mean? Still watching to see what you're gonna,
I think,
see your mind progress.
Yeah. It sounds, like that would be the case. I don't believe that would be the case. I think he would lose a lot of his right-wing viewership if he did that, and he knows that. And that's why ever since he started with this COVID shit, he hasn't had anybody to challenge him on his podcast. He hasn't had any real left-wing people, left-wing commentators, any actual epidemiologists. Which how do you not have one on your show during a pandemic? He's not having anybody on his show who's going to challenge any of this COVID stuff. And that's by design. He doesn't want that.
Yeah.
He does not want that.
Yeah. Right wing guy after right wing guy after
Yeah.
right wing guy, conspiracy theorists, scientists who like Robert Malone, who's lying, misleading. These are the people you're putting on. The other guy snuck in somehow and checked them recently, right? I'm not sure if he's a scientist. The guy that Joe Rogan said something that was wrong about the vaccine, and then he corrected him. And they kind of went a back and forth. Yeah, they kind of went a little back and forth there. And Rogan was still like, "Oh, but it's so crazy. Like, there's so much information everywhere."
Yeah,
Like,
he
wait,
was
what?
he was citing bogus sources. He was citing bullshit bogus sources. And the guy he was talking to was just like, no, you're wrong. What you're saying is wrong. It's factually wrong. And Joe Rogan is still like, but I don't know. It's bullshit. He's garbage. I did used to like him too at one point.
Damn, it
But
sucks. I really did like him.
if you're gonna lose your morals like that and just grift to the right, you're trash. You're pure trash, and I could care less.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm disappointed in him. That's he's taking the money. He's taking the money. I get it, man. But you lost your morals, and I can never respect that. But all right, brother.
All right, this is gonna wrap it up. Episode 2 in the books.
The motherfucking books.
This one was fun. Yeah. If you
I'm a little blasted.
Yeah, Eric is blasted. If you stumbled upon us on YouTube, please subscribe, like. We want to keep doing this. This is a lot of fun for both of us.
Yes.
We want to improve our production, our presentation, and so on. So yeah, please show support. I'll post any links, any relevant links below for Nina Turner and whatever else we spoke about. As we mentioned last time, we game a lot, big gamers, big streamers. Well, we stream a lot. We're not big streamers. Hopefully one day.
Not at all. But we're gonna get there.
Yeah. Eric will be on twitch.tv/FTF Gaming. I will be on twitch.tv/Denny_RP.
Just so you know, Denny,
Yeah.
it's actually Falco Thy Fear
It's not FTF
with a
Gaming?
0. No.
Okay.
It's Falco Thy Fear with a 0.
Well, I'll paste it below. I'll paste it in the description.
Yeah.
So anybody can access it easily. What are you playing? You still same old?
Right now, I'm getting into Risk with my friends. We're just getting into Among Us now. I'm really late, but yeah, I like playing that. But when I get more competitive, I like to do a little Halo Wars 2 and some motherfucking For Honor.
Nice.
That's
Yeah. I am hooked on the new Pokemon Legends Arceus. I'm going to be streaming that probably tomorrow. It's awesome. I love it. So
yeah.
good.
You really? It's fun.
Oh, it's so fun. I love it.
Like they said, they had like 4 shinies. I'm like, damn, that's pretty easy to get shinies, huh?
It's easier than previous games, but overall, it's a difficult game. You get your ass handed to you in this game.
Okay, nice.
But it's fun. A lot of exploration, a lot of survival. It's really like a exploration survival game kind of. Because
Yeah, you have to eat to stay alive.
You don't have to eat, but Pokemon are on the offensive quite often because they're out in the wild, and unlike previous games, you see them, like you can see them walking around, and some of them have different natures. Some of them will just get scared and run away from you if they see you, but a lot of them will square up. A lot of them want to square the fuck up, and what's cool is that they don't. It's not like they throw like a generic, like they'll go up to you and like throw a generic attack and they'll like try to hit you. They'll use their attacks. They'll use Thunderbolt, boom, and they'll shoot it at you. They'll use Hydro Pump and fucking try to blast you from a distance. It's crazy.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
But it's a blast. Anyway, I'll be streaming that on Twitch. And yeah, thanks for watching.
All right, bro.
Peace.
Peace out, guys.